to another episode of Astral Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Today, we got a 2001 Ford Windstar Limited. It's got an antifreeze leak. Now the antifreeze leak is coming from a heater hose assembly. It's a hose assembly that runs up under the plenum, or some people call it the upper intake, and it runs down to the front of the block. Alright, let me show you that hose and what we got to do to replace it, and then we're going to get to doing it, okay? Okay, now, here's the pipe right here, and this pipe got a small hole in it that's leaking out, it's rotted out. And you can probably go a cheap way and try to put some JB weld or braze it or something like that, just get the hose and replace it. Now this hose goes over here and it runs up under the plenum or the upper intake. So we're gonna have to remove that to replace it. Now if we look over here, now in case you gotta replace yours, you can see it's part number 626-225, Dorman. Got this whole assembly, and the customer picked up a manifold gasket set. I gotta have that, MS 90812. All right, and a gallon of antifreeze, 50/50. All right, so let's set this camera up and take this apart. We'll be right back. Okay, the first thing we want to do, let's get that air cleaner out the way. Set this up. Pop up the tab here. Unscrew it. It's just like replacing the air filter. This thing gets kind of tight sometimes, but it'll come off. There we go. And on the other side here, we got a little pipe, little hose that goes to it. Pull that out of there. Okay, right up underneath. It's right there. Now we got the mass airflow that's connected to it. Now you don't have to connect it, just lean this over to the side. Unplug the idle air control valve, EPS sensor. Lean that down to the side. Okay. Now what we're going to do is to make this easier for us. Let's set this up. Okay. Instead of removing the whole throttle body, you got two 10mm nuts, one right there and one right below it. So we're going to do is disconnect those. You see this little clip up here? Just push that forward and that snaps right off. Okay, then we're going to do the other one in a minute. Alright, so let's get those two bolts off. Let's set this camera up and we'll be right back. Okay. Set this off. So that way we don't have to mess with the cables up here and try to mess with any kind of adjustment or mess them up. We'll leave all that intact. Well, there's a spring back here. Make sure you take that spring off. To the side. Alright, let's get that off. Note, bolts are different sizes. The longer one goes to the bottom of the bracket, the shorter one, of course, goes to the top. Let's flip this, open this accelerator up all the way so I can get this cable out of here. And swing that to the side, just like that. Okay, take wires. They go over to the side like this. Okay. Now, next step is all these get this thing turn better. Got a lot of tip. Just get those off. Let's get those right here. So let's get those 10mm. And I'll probably get this. Let's see. Yeah, 1/4" drive, 10mm. Pay attention to how these bolts are put into place. You see, this one have a little stud. It doesn't matter, but let me see if you can see it. Yeah, this one got a little stud, and then we got ones in the back. So we're just gonna pay attention to where those are at, and then we're just gonna start taking off all those bolts. All right, so let's get all those bolts taken out, and we'll be right back. Okay, we got all the bolts out, and you notice I left all the bolts still in there. Let's try to. All these bolts are not touching. Make sure they're all out. Okay. Looks like that wiring harness is in my way over here. You know what? Looks like might remove this idle air control valve. To give me a little bit more clearance over here. So let's get these two 10 bolts out of here on the idle air control valve. Maybe make it a little easier to come out of there. Now let's see if we can get this out of here. Looks like we might have to remove the top to get this off. We'll be right back. Okay, so it came off. The bolts in, I had to remove this one right here away from the idle air control mounting. Take this up. Set that to the side. Now, looks like on the inside of here, we got 8mm bolts. Yep. So, those 8 out of there, like the vacuum line right here, go to the fuel pressure regulator. So unplug that from right there. Got a vacuum hose going to the back. That's going to the brake booster. Pull that off from the brake booster. Okay. Let's get those bolts out of there. And we'll be right back. Let's, you know what? As I said, 8mm. Use a little extension. This. Okay, let's get those 8 out, and we'll be right back. Okay, got all the bolts out. There's a vacuum hose back here. Unplug. Let's see if this thing comes up. Okay. EGR valve control sensor. Vacuum hose over here. Vacuum lines off the sensor too. In fact, let me show you. Okay, you see right here, just unplug the sensor. Then we're gonna unplug the vacuum lines going to it. Get a little screwdriver and help it out. Okay, over here, yes. Now the vacuum line right here is going to the brake booster. Okay, and we got another vacuum line over here. Right down here. Unplug that. Okay, let's see if we can take this up. Get this out of the way. Okay, here we go. Let's set this down to the side. As you can see, here's the pipe we're changing right here. 8mm bolt right there, 8mm right there. And the hose goes over here, little hose clamp. So let's set this back up. And then we're going to take that off. Be right back. Okay, first thing we're going to do, let's disconnect this hose over here. We've got a hose right back here. That's going to this pipe. It's a 5/16 or 8mm. Let's get that off. I definitely can't hold this and do this, so you know what to do. Take that clamp off and pull that hose off. We'll be right back. Okay. You see? Got that hose off of there. Let's go over there and take off those 2 8mm bolts. We're gonna be replacing these gaskets. Let's get that pipe out of there. Now you got this, remember this little hose up here. Get that off out of the way. Wow, that thing really Kind of rusty system in there. Okay, let's get this pipe out of here. Get a little screwdriver. Needle nose in here. Get that popped up out of there. Really corroded in there. Might forget some vice grips or something. Wow. This is really tight in here. So let's get some pliers or something. Cause we don't have much of a swing over here. Get some pliers or something to try to move that out of there. Okay, let's get a pair of vice grips on this and see if we can loosen this up. There we go. At the same time, see if we can have to pry up on that. Got a lot of corrosion on it. Alright, let's get this pipe out of here. Okay, there's our pipe. This thing is roosted out around here. Now what we're going to do is, before we get the new one, gonna clean up inside here a little bit. So we don't have that problem again or anything happening. Alright, we'll be right back. Okay, we'll take us a little rag and clean up inside of there. Okay, now here we got the new pipe. Match it up, make sure everything looks the same. This one also has a new clamp with it on all, everything. So let's put this back in here. Okay. Now, before we put this back into the intake, we're going to take a little silicone, just a little bit. Let's put it around that O-ring. Just to make sure we have a good seal there and it doesn't leak. And we make sure everything's lined up. Back and forth, push that in, and we're in. Okay, let's get out 2 8mm bolts. Screw it on back into place. Tighten those up, and when we come back, we're going to hook up the lines, the hoses, and get ready for the intake. We'll be right back. Okay, let's get this little hose on. This clamp right here, you can pretty much squeeze by hand. Get that down there. Now the one back here, it's a little more difficult. Okay, so now we got to squeeze that clamp together. Let's get us a pair of long needle nose. It's a very tight spot. Okay, we'll push that hose down. Go down a little bit more, and bring the clamp down a little bit more. Okay, let's bring that clamp down just a little bit more. So we're gonna bring that clamp down a little bit more, and when we come back, we're gonna clean off the intake and get that intake on. We'll be right back. Okay, we're gonna get ready to set the intake on. Let's take these gaskets off. We're gonna got new ones to go on. Get rid of these. And take you a nice clean rag and wipe that off. You know, this don't seem to be coming out all that great by wiping it. So we're gonna get some air tools in here and clean this off good. We'll be right back. Okay, we got a little wheel here. Let's go over here and clean up this thing real lightly. Okay, I'm gonna do the rest of these, and when we come back, we're gonna clean up that intake and put the new gaskets on it. Be right back. Okay, what I did, took the intake, turned it upside down. Got some brake parts cleaner, or you can use carburetor cleaner. And where the gasket goes, just gonna spray those, get that old oil out of there, so the gasket holds better. Okay, now I'm gonna get a little compressed air, just blow that off a little bit. Okay, we got that nice and dry. Got the new gaskets here. The old ones you can throw out. 6 of them. Make sure your hands are nice and dry. You don't want to get no oil on these gaskets. And you notice these gaskets have little tabs on them. It lets you know where to set that at. Make sure that's lined up right. Get all 6 of them in there. Now all these gaskets, you want to make sure you get a There's little grooves in there that holds these gaskets into place. There's no wrong or right way of putting this on. So just as long as it lines up with the port, push them in, done. Now, bottom of the intake's on. Let's get some gloves, and we're gonna set this intake on, just onto the lower intake. We'll be right back. Okay, now pay attention to this intake right here. As you know, we got the vacuum hose for the brake booster. We got a hose up under here. Remember these hoses and everything to connect them once we put them back. So let's slowly connect this. Put this intake down, line them up with their respective ports. Once you get it down, just put it in the middle four just by hand, just to keep it in place. And now let's go back over here and connect these hoses so we don't forget that. The hose over here. Let's go over here and up under here and hook this brake booster up. Okay, now right over here to the EGR control solenoid. Got the vacuum line. Kind of hard to see back there. Okay, now plug up the electrical connector to it. Then we got this one hose over here toward the end. Put that on. Right now, all over there, we got connected. Then we up here, we have the vacuum hose from the intake to the fuel pressure regulator. Get that hooked on real quick. Right now, before we go and hook up the throttle body and all, take your time. Start from the center. And tighten up all 8 bolts. Go like a clockwise rotation. Start from 1, 2, 3, 4, go around, and then go around again. Alright? Let's tighten those up, and we'll be right back. Okay, got the bolts tightened up. Now, this upper intake, let's get this little screwdriver or something. Pick that old gasket up out of there. Thing, get a little carburetor cleaner. Go around with the air, clean it out. And let's set the new gasket. Now this gasket has 2 tabs on each side. So we don't got to line those tabs up over there. So let's see how this goes. Okay. Let's get that tab one. Okay. Gasket keeps popping up over here, so this might cause a little problem for us right here. So I might get some kind of sealer to lock that down. Yeah, I think we will, because we can't take no chances with this thing coming up. Okay, we're gonna get some glue in that. We'll be right back. Okay, we got this little vacuum hose over here, side of the intake. While we're over here now, we'll just push that on real quick. And we're going to the second part of the intake that just sets up into here, just like that. Okay. Now the one we got all the screws, left in it and everything. We had a hard time getting this thing out of here. So let's see if we can go in there a lot better. Make sure the gasket's not coming up anything. Everything lined up. We'll just take a couple screws by hand to make sure everything is lined up. Okay, that's good. Alright, take your 10mm bolt socket. Now the one back here, on this one back here, bring it in as much as you can and use a wrench or a shallow 10mm 1/4" drive, because it's very difficult to get to. Right, so let's get that tightened up, all of them tightened up, and we'll be right back. Okay, intakes both down. Let's go up here and put this accelerator cable on. Let's get these wires going to the top over here. Now on these wires, on these accelerator cables, on the first one, it sets in a slot. You gotta open the throttle up all the way. It's easier to do this when it's disconnected. You ain't gonna be able to see that, but yeah, of course it's gonna give me a hard time. Okay, snap back into place. That's good. And while we got it up like this, let's get this downshift cable. That on. Snap into place. Now we got 2 bolts. Remember these 2 bolts. The longer one is going to go at the bottom. So if you can see right here, it'll be easier. Let's get that top one in first so we can line that up. Okay. Let me get the bottom one. Okay, let's get both of those tightened up. Okay. $10mm. Hook up our spring. Now you got a little eye up here. So one end of the spring goes there, and you'll see another eye right on the throttle body that goes there. Okay. Hook up our sensors over here. We got the throttle positioning sensor. Hook that up. Which one goes to the idle air control valve? So let's put that idle air control valve back up there. Again, 10mm. Now tighten the intake bolts up and the idle air control valve. These are not super tight, just till it stops. You can mess this up. Up. Now we got this little, remember this vacuum hose right here that's going to go back to the bottom of that air cleaner. So don't forget to plug that back in once we hook that back up. Alright, we'll be right back. Okay, here's the port right here where that vacuum line is going to go to. Make sure everything's out of the way. Plugged up in there. Check engine light won't come on. This car will run kind of bad. Connect onto the air cleaner. When we got that up there, we're going to tighten that up. Make sure this clamp is tight. If you see any cracks in this air tube, replace it. This car will run really bad. Hook up the air cleaner. These things are a pain in the neck. So. Yeah, I'm having a little fun with this. We'll come right back. Okay, we got everything connected. You know, go around everything. Make sure you have everything good, tight. Air cleaner. Got a piece of my glove in there. That's good. Yeah. All right. Put some antifreeze in here. We got Prestone 50/50. Gonna fill the system up. This is a self-bleeding system. That's what this tube is for right here. So we're just gonna fill this system up. Okay, this system has a lot of rust in it. Never allow too much. You can see the stuff up here. This also could be some kind of sealer they put in here. Stuff is no good for a car. Okay, there you have it. We're done. If you have any questions, you can give us. Don't give us a call. Yeah, I keep asking me these questions. Just leave a message down there, and I'll be sure to answer you. This is Timmy from Astro Auto Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can. Take care.